You're watching Reality Check. The rise of the Taliban has created ripples in India's always simmering sectarian cauldron. On one hand, a section of Muslim individuals have celebrated the Taliban's return, drawing a sharp rebuke from iconic Muslim figures like Nasiruddin Shah and Javed Akhtar. On the other hand, there are fears that the Taliban's return will be used or is already being used to stoke the Islamophobia that's rampant in our country. Javed Akhtar, scriptwriter, renowned poet and an active commentator on the public sphere, joins me on the program. Javed Akhtar, great to have you on as always. Let me just start by asking you, Javed Akhtar, because I saw your tweet where you said you were appalled that some figures, I think they were Muslim personal law board figures, had welcomed the return of the Taliban. What exactly did you find that they'd said, and what made you respond in that way?
I mean, I cannot remember their statement verbatim, but the gist was that they believe that it's a very positive and very welcome development in the world, that Talibans are regaining power in Afghanistan. Good for them. But thankfully, I have realized during these days that these people are in a minuscule, negligible minority within Muslim community. And most of the Muslims I met and I spoke to them, they were really appalled and they were shocked by this kind of statement. And these people remind me of that central character of that film, Sunset Boulevard. That here was an actress of silent time. She believed that there are a lot of fans standing outside, and if she go out, she'll be mobbed, while everybody had forgotten her. So these people are in Sunset Boulevard. The fact is that this community, without opposing them verbally or articulating their differences, because they do, an average person doesn't want to create an unnecessary controversy, has moved on. Today, an average young Muslim couple wants their children to go to good schools, have best education. This cannot be the criteria whether this is a girls' school or a boys' school. A good school is the criteria. Right. So let them say anything. I mean, these people believe in segregation of genders, segregation of communities. Any kind of segregation is an attractive idea to them.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, we should learn something positive from this development. You see, we should look at those people in India who want to achieve the same goal, segregation. I mean, there have been cups that have said the girls should not have mobile telephones. There have been anti-Romeo brigade moving in the same direction, trying to achieve the same thing. Yes. I mean, I see an uncanny resemblance between the Taliban and people who want to be like Taliban. They have achieved a lot in recent times, but they would like to reach the position where the Taliban are.
Right. I think
it's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. There's an interesting parallel there, and many people have pointed this out, because the same people who are, in a sense, using the return of the Taliban to stoke a sense of Islamophobia, to say that, oh, look, now, Muslim extremism is going to rise, are often the same people who themselves are guilty of various forms of extremist thought and action in this country.
As a matter of fact, I have always maintained that if you look at the right wing all over the world, whether it's a Muslim right wing or a Christian right wing or Jewish wing or a Hindu right wing, their similarity is uncanny. You see, what are they trying to achieve? Taliban want to make an Islamic country, right?
Yeah.
These people want to make a Hindu Raj. They see that anything which is not approved by the tradition should not be accepted. That's what they say. They say that modernization brings corruption and indiscipline. That's what these people say. You see, they are also against that. They don't want boys and girls meeting freely and sitting in a park or a seashore and so on. I mean, so many things have happened. So how are they different, except that they are still not that empowered as Taliban are?
Right. But
that's about all. But their goal is the same.
Right. But at the same time, you did feel, because even Nasir Saab, I don't know if you had a chance to see Nasiruddin Shah's video.
No, I have not heard.
Okay, but he also put out a video saying, in a way, what you did, that there may be a fringe within the Muslim community that's celebrating the return of the Taliban, and that absolutely must be condemned. But there was some amount of pushback to that, with the view being that, is this trying to make too much of what is essentially a very small fraction within a community that may be supporting the Taliban, while ignoring the bigger menace of majoritarian bigotry and Islamophobia? I don't know how.
You see, if they could see the right perspective, they would not have been what they are. Obviously, their whole viewpoint is distorted. But thankfully, they are obsolete. Thankfully, they have no hold left on the educated middle class of Muslims. And these are the people who matter, ultimately.
Right.
They have no hold whatsoever. People will not, maybe they will not openly criticize them, like not many people criticize openly. There are very few people who criticize Bajrang Dal or VHP, but they don't agree with them. An average Indian is a secular person, but doesn't want to get into controversy or doesn't want to put himself in some kind of a trouble, because there is a lot of violence hovering around him. So he feels that, all right, I shouldn't say that, and it can create some kind of a chaos in my life. But the way they are spending their life, the way they are living, the way they are reacting or interacting with the society, it doesn't condone these diktats. It doesn't condone this point of view or this philosophy at all.
Okay, so you're saying that these people within the Muslim community, whoever has come out, these are fringe people, these are largely inconsequential, but as you pointed out, there is this bigger worry about the right wing, as you said, all over, who are all similar in terms of what they want to achieve.
Ironic.
Yeah.
What is ironic?
Yeah.
That the right wing may take advantage of this, and with this support, they will try to become more like Taliban. That is interesting. You see, look at the right wing objectively, without any passion, with some objectivity. They are the same people. Now their names are different, or their faces are different, but ultimately, if you look at their value system, it is the same. Vis-a-vis gender, vis-a-vis minorities, they have no love lost for minorities like Taliban. They want women to be at home and on the margin like Taliban. So what is the difference between the two? They think no law is superior than their religious faith. That is what Taliban says. So where are you different from them? And how are you so upset? And by being upset, you are becoming more Taliban. It's interesting.
But it's true. You're right that the parallels are quite striking. But But how much? But how much of a sense of fear? And we've spoken about this before. You've also spoken about this before, because this is a phenomenon that has been rising in this country. Every other day, we see some horrific either hate speech targeted at Muslims. We see attacks. We are seeing a spate of attacks on ordinary Muslims, some tea seller, bangle vendor. What kind of impact is this having within the community in the conversations that you're having? How is this playing out?
This is a kind of a dress rehearsal for becoming a full-fledged Taliban. That is what they are doing. These are Talibani traits that they are imitating. They are the same people, only the names are different. Their goal is a bit far. You know, there is a constitution between their goal and them, Indian constitution. But given half a chance, they'll cross that. They are the same people. You see, secular. Now, secular has become a four-letter word in India for many people, and they call them secular. What do you think? Taliban have great respect for secular.
Right.
They also have that same contempt that you have.
Yes.
So, I think those who support organizations like RSS or BHP or Bajrang Dal need to do some introspection. Of course, Taliban are reprehensible. There is no doubt about it. They are barbarian. But the people whom you are supporting, how are they different from them?
But
Except the privilege. They are less privileged. But they are trying to gain more and more ground, and every day they are inching forward. But they have the same mindset.
What is that? Yes, but what is that doing to the thinking and the fears and the anxieties of the Muslim community, in your view? This phenomenon, this rising hate and bigotry. Javed Sahab.
But the fact remains that if I did not have cancer, it doesn't mean there is no disease called cancer. If I never came under a automobile, it means there are no accidents in the world. So if it has not happened to me, it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Things are bad. Of course things are bad.
Right.
You have to be you have to be broad-minded, you have to be progressive, and you have to join the huge majority of Hindus who are secular people, even today. This country is basically a secular country. The very idea, like Taliban, cannot appeal to an Indian. It is not in his brain. Look at this ISIS and Daesh and what all, and so many organizations. How many Muslims have joined that in India? You have around 15 to 20 crore Muslims. Perhaps 20, 100, 150, not even 1,000. You can't give 1,000 names.
Right.
So it is not in their DNA. Indians don't have that kind of extremism in their DNA. Now this very idea, the whole thing, RSS, it is a poor copy of the kind of Nazism that had come in 30s of Germany. Even RSS is also, because they had SS. So now they have these initials RSS. Their shorts, all that has come from there. The whole philosophy. Mr. Goldwalker has praised Hitler to no end in his book. And he has said that we should learn from Hitler how to handle minorities. So these are people who are from the same package.
But I want to
Daesh or Taliban
right.
or these right-wing Hindus, they are from the same package.
Okay, they will of course challenge that and say that that you can't compare that extreme kind of actions and behavior of groups like the Taliban and ISIS to the RSS.
I agree. They are still not that in power. That's true. But where is the goal? Where do they want to reach? Of course, they are in the process. And they may or may not reach their goal. But what is the difference between their goal and Taliban's goal? I want to know that.
Right. But
like in their guru
yeah.
Guru Goldwalker ji, whose photograph you will see in every RSS and BJP house. They are called, he's called Guruji. He said that the minority should be defranchised. They should not have the right to vote.
Right.
Either some of them should come forward and say that we disown Goldwalker's this statement. We don't agree with him. We condemn it in the strongest terms. Otherwise, if you are silent about it, like Muslim Personal Law Board is silent about Taliban, I demand that they should give a clear-cut statement. Do they agree with them? If they don't agree with them and they think they are wrong, why can't they articulate it very clearly?
Yes, I saw that. You said they should go public with it, and I agree with you. They should. They should come out and clearly say where they stand on the Taliban. But I want to
Yeah.
ask you, though, about the point you raised, the premise you raised about India largely being a secular country and that a majority of the majority community are secular. And I'd like to believe that as well. But then how would you explain the fact that this whole communal poison, this whole mindset, this way of thinking is gaining so much ground in India? Has the needle started to shift away from what we were or what we ought to be?
I really wonder if it is gaining ground. I mean, don't go on Twitter and some social media hate messages and some channels and some newspapers. India is much bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. At the peak of their popularity, they were shareholders of 37% of votes. Maybe later it became 39, whatever. What does it mean? It means almost 70% people, or 65% people, or 67% people, or 63% people did not vote for them. Maybe the opposition was scattered. It was not united. It was in pieces. The votes went to 20 other places.
Right.
But they did not condone this ideology. Even today, if you
So when
see,
you
I
say
mean,
them, okay, so you're talking now about the BJP's vote share. You're saying the fact that the BJP got whatever 36, 37% vote share. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. So to believe that everybody has become a communalist and every Hindu is out to kill Muslims, it is not true. It's not true at all. I mean, you should have due respect for this majority community of this country. They are extremely decent and tolerant people. Yes, there are mad fringes in every community. So there is a mad fringe in Hindu community also.
No, Javed Sahab, I agree with you. My question was different. I wasn't questioning that. I was just saying that has that phenomenon, has that broad, tolerant and moderate center, has that started to tilt more and more towards some of its worst, some of the worst instincts that we thought we'd put behind?
Actually, there is no moderate center. That is the problem. The moderate powers or moderate mindset people are scattered. There are like many islands in the ocean of darkness, but there are no bridges to connect these islands.
Right.
That's all. That's all.
Okay.
I have total faith in basic sensibility of an average Indian. You see, sometimes it happens that a person who is leading a very moderate and very disciplined life would like to be once in a while a bit wild. So sometimes it happens in a society, for a while people start thinking like that, but then they come back to the center. There will never be extremism, whether of left or right. This can never become a red country.
Right.
And this will never become an orange country.
Well,
let green countries be happy with the way they are.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
We are not going to join the club. We are not going to join the club of Taliban. India will never become a Talibani country.
Sure.
You see, there the majority is Muslim. And now look at what they are doing. Here, the majority is not that kind of majority. But some people are trying to turn that majority into Talibani. It won't work.
You're talking of Afghanistan.
Yeah. And we should be very clear. People should loud and clear tell that see,
but what is
now I can see this picture that there are 4 or 5 people who are beating a man mercilessly.
Yes.
These people are pathetic. These people are pathetic. I'll tell you what is their psychology. They are nobodies. They have no achievement. There is nothing in their life that can make them proud. They are very angry people.
But
cowards always join the violent mob because that is where they feel they are not beating that man. They are beating the sense that we are cowards.
right.
This complex which is inside.
Okay. But Javed Sahab, let me ask you this though, because you're saying that a majority in Afghanistan does not support the Taliban, but many have pointed out that the Taliban's return, their rapid return and the way in which they've managed to take control of the country indicates that there is or there could be an groundswell or an underlying base of support for them, just as you have a support base for conservative or extremist ideologies all over the world. There could be. Maybe some people don't accept the extreme behavior by them. But then how do you explain the fact that they've managed to recapture so much ground so quickly?
You see, if we look at it carefully, America, USA, that abdicated their, shall I say, occupation, had a lot of friendly meetings with the Taliban, and there was some understanding between the two.
Right.
And Taliban also took care that when Americans are going, they are not harmed. They were very upset. There were 3 Americans by some accident died, and you see, I don't believe that there was a army of 350,000 people and soldiers, and within a week, some people on mobiles and trucks and buses came and conquered every city. It doesn't sound reasonable. Maybe it would have taken few months, but with same result. Chalo. But you know, it means the present regime, which was the puppet of USA and Taliban, have some kind of understanding that we are not aware of.
Okay, but you know,
it is it looks too staged.
Okay, looks staged. But you know, there's an interesting dynamic which is kind of complicated this conversation, which is that the Taliban claims that they have changed. They are no longer the Taliban of old, and they're actually reaching out to governments across the world to try to engage with them, including India. So for the first time, the Indian government has officially accepted that they're talking to the Taliban, a group that we used to consider a terror group, a group which we've held as complicit in carrying out or enabling terrorist acts on India. We are now talking to them.
Sad, you know, we are not in we are in a no-win situation. I mean, you see, I may criticize our present political dispensation for many things, but in this case, I mean, we have to look at them in a way more sympathetically. What can they do? They have left with 2 choices. They are left with 2 choices. Either they don't communicate with Taliban.
Right.
Given half a chance, I would like to do that. But obviously, if you are in power, you are representing a country, you can't be that cavalier. So, if they don't communicate with them, don't develop some kind of understanding, we have spent millions of dollars in that country for their infrastructure. Anyway, after that, if we don't do that, then we will be the only enemy left in this whole region. It is not good for us.
Right.
Because they have a big army of terrorists, so it can create problems for us. So we have to see to it doesn't happen. But if we communicate with them, then ultimately we are giving them legitimacy.
Right.
So it is a no-win situation for us. And it's so very easy to criticize the government on this issue, but I know that they are in a serious moral problem.
Right. No, I mean,
what do they do? What can they do?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Realpolitik and India's strategic interests also have to come into play.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
Let's see how it plays out. Anyway, it was always fascinating as ever to talk to you, Javed Sahab. Thank you so much for joining us on NDTV.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.